Hmm.
And I'm just going to quickly mention, because we had it in the situation, there's a couple of things that can happen. If a client goes back to a scene, so maybe they're 20 and maybe you're working on a breakup and then they follow the feeling back to 20 and it's a breakup. And, you kind of think to yourself, wonder if this really is the first feeling or whether there's conscious kind of kicking in here. The way to do it is drift into the scene. The 20-year-old is standing in front of you. I want you to ask her, is this the first time she's felt this feeling? And if she says no, okay, you're just going to drift back even further, just focusing on that feeling, going back even younger. That's what you do if you feel like it's not the first one. And if she says yes, it's the first time, sweet, keep on going as normal. So if you just think, oh, this is too kind of, too straightforward or something. Now, what we had in a situation here was they went back to a scene and everything was done, but they just couldn't shift the feeling. It just wasn't going. And in the end, they ended up going younger. So, and it's real, I'm glad that happened, because if you are in a scene and no matter what you do, the feeling just won't leave, then you would ask the kid, is this actually the first time you felt this? And then most likely they'll say no, and you'll be, okay, let's drift back further. Because then what you've done is you've cleared that feeling all the way from here onwards, but there's still the initial event back further. So it's just a question you would ask if you did get stuck, and I hadn't mentioned that before. So Lou and Susie, you guys are like bringing up the good stuff. And even with and another thing that just was mentioned is always double checking that the feeling's clear. So they need to say it's gone. They can't say, oh yeah, it's feeling better, or oh yeah, it's kind of moved. You've got to say, even if it sounds positive, oh yeah, it's feeling really good now. They didn't answer the question that it's gone. And I'll say, oh yeah, it's feeling good, but is there any of it left?
And if there is?
Yeah. And then you say, okay, so what do they need to know? And if they're like, well, I don't know. Well, just ask them, is this the first time they really felt that? Or you do what you have to do, or pull it out the last little bit.
Yeah. I think asking, is this the first time, that probably, because I did everything else.
Yeah. And in your situation, yeah, it did. Lil went back quite a few times. So all the way back. That doesn't normally happen, but it's good to know that that's just one question you may ask if you do get really stuck. And you can understand how that happens. Like I said, if you clear all the way back, but there's a tiny bit left, it's because that tiny bit isn't actually coming from that time. It's a little bit back even more. So once you get back, yeah, so that's what happens if that little bit happens. Has anyone else got any questions around what we just did, or what you guys did with your practice? I'm going to stop the recording.